Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Good morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is now 7:26 here, and I'd like to send out morning greetings to everybody on their way to work, school, just starting the day. Special good morning to you. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling my best yesterday, and I had also injured my hand, so I was not able to be with you yesterday, but I'm here today, and unfortunately, Christal is under the weather today. So, with studio with me this morning is Rolisa. Good morning, Rolisa.
Good morning, Ari. You feeling better?
Eh,
Yeah.
eh. But it is Friday and the weekend is beginning today. So we're going to dive into these topics. So Rolisa, you said you touched on the budget being approved and prematurely ending yesterday.
Well, yes, I did. Yes, I expressed yesterday that I was not satisfied or not happy as a citizen with the budget ending ahead of time. As I mentioned yesterday as well, that I didn't understand how we moved from on Tuesday evening hearing that the budget would be the wish was for the budget to be wrapped up on Friday, and possibly that didn't happen, to wrap up on Saturday. And then suddenly we moved to Wednesday hearing, before it was even 12 that the budget was wrapping up, So I felt disappointed. I felt let down as a citizen, knowing that that was happening. Apart from that, I was disappointed in not hearing all of the ministers speak, and by extension, having the shadow ministers on the part of the opposition, the NDP side, them not being able to rebut, comment, respond to anything that was stated by the ministers. Along with that, I was also disappointed with the fact that the senators they were in Parliament, well, at least at the time that I looked, or whenever the camera panned, that the senators, they were also there, but we did not hear from any of them. I'm all for female empowerment. I'm all for female voice, especially in the parliament, which seems to be filled with a lot of testosterone. The only female who spoke was that of Senator John on the side of the opposition, right? So I was actually looking forward to hearing the ministers and senators on the ULP side, on the government side, speaking as well. What also what also happened, that I was disappointed with, was knowing that there were a lot of students in attendance. I think in Parliament you call it the gallery, not the audience, the gallery. But if that's incorrect, then you can correct me, and that's no problem. What I was also disappointed with was knowing that you had so many students who were viewing or looking at the debate live, looking at the debate. And to see that they would have been there, or more than likely their expectation was that the parliament was going to go for the 5 days, and that did not happen, right? So I was disappointed with all of those things. There's something else that I want to add, but I think I'll allow you to say your bit, Ari, and that I would comment on something else that I neglected to mention yesterday.
So I'm reading Searchlight's report on it, which is the 2024 national budget passed through all its stages in the House of Assembly on Wednesday, January 10th, without much debate. This year's budget was delivered by Minister of Finance Camilo Gonzalez on Monday afternoon, January 8th. On Tuesday morning, it was the turn of the opposition leader, Dr. Godwin Friday, to make his response to the 2024 financial package. Usually, the response from the opposition leader paves way for days of robust and sometimes heated debate, which draws participation from members of both sides of the House, excluding the Attorney General. This year, the debate was expected to continue up to today, Friday, January 12th. It was expected that sometime today, the finance minister would wrap up the debate on the budget after hearing the contributions of his colleagues in Parliament. However, shortly after midday on Wednesday, the budget was approved in Parliament after very little debate. Apart from the opposition leader, only 3 Other members contributed to the debate. These members are Minister of Agriculture, Saboto Caesar, and Minister of Transport and Works, Montgomery Daniel, on the government side. Senator Chevron John is the only member of the opposition benches to have contributed to the 2024 budget debate, I guess, aside from the opposition leader. The contributions were all made after the luncheon period on Tuesday, when the sitting of the House resumed on Wednesday for a continuation of the debate. The Speaker made several calls for further debate, but there were just moments of continued silence. This prompted Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves to rise and invite the Speaker for the proceedings on the budget to be wrapped up. Opposition member of West Kingston, Daniel Cummins, raised concern about this, saying that he had already injured not to speak before the Minister of Health, Sinclair Prince. Cummings explained that the opposition shadow Minister of Health, as the opposition shadow Minister of Health, he wanted to hear Prince's contribution before making a response. Prince was absent from Parliament due to the death of his mother. Although taken by surprise, the wrap-up on Wednesday, the Finance Minister used a little less than his allotted 3 hours to close off the debate on the 2024 national budget, which was then approved by members. The 2024 budget for 1.62 billion consists of current expenditure of 835.4 million and current revenue of 810.9 million, with capital receipts of 805.6 million. That was a mouthful. There's also a bit of video of the exchange between the members of the House that caused the budget to end prematurely, or what happened in light of, I don't know, let me not say in light of, what happened a little before the silence in the House that ultimately led to the budget being wrapped up.
Yes, for the debate.
Are you speaking? Madam Speaker, honorable members.
Yes, Honorable Prime Minister.
It is unfortunate that I have to begin to speak on this particular occasion, because I was due to speak on Friday. But inasmuch as no one is rising to speak, I think I'll invite the Honorable Minister of Finance to wrap up the debate so that we can all go home.
Honorable Minister of Finance, you have 3 hours as soon as you're mic'd and ready.
So that was the beginning of what caused the drama yesterday. Now, in light of the time, it's 7:34. We need to have traffic talk at 7:35. We'll break and we'll be back at 7:45 to discuss this further. But it is really disappointing to see. This is the part that the budget debate took yesterday, but we'll discuss it further in about 10 minutes. In about 10 minutes.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
This is WEFM'S Traffic Talk, Monday to Friday, 7:35 a.m. in association with the traffic branch of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force.
The time is now 7:35 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's time for your traffic talk this morning for Friday, January 12th, 2024. This morning we have joining us Station Sergeant Jones. The Station Sergeant Jones will be giving us our traffic report this morning. Bear with us as we connect with Sergeant Jones.
You have called.
Unfortunately, we're not able to connect with Station Sergeant Jones this morning, so we won't be bringing the traffic talk. So we're gonna break for commercial purposes, and we'll be right back at 7:45 with our discussion.
Boy, so where you getting crashing on? Your brakes real good, boy.
Now brakes alone good enough. My tires good too.
Tires? Where you get them tires, boy?
Out by Caribbean Tire Plus, man. They out in Addersville. Can't miss it. Look for the orange container on them. Plenty parking space and open 7 days a week all thing, man. Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call them today. Caribbean Tire Plus, 784-432-4786 or email ctiresplus@gmail.com.
Sparrows, rum of your sophistication. Sparrows, rum, aged to perfection. Skillfully crafted and forged with time in oak barrels. A rum so divine. Discover authentic Caribbean rum. Sparrows, premium rum. Sparrows, full-bodied rum. Sparrows, pure sophistication. Discover authentic Vincentian rum. Sparrows, premium rum.
Distilled and blended by St. Vincent Distillers Limited. Please drink responsibly.
Agents, Careers, Distributions Limited.
It's everything you'll ever want from everywhere. Real easy. Shop on the net. Use eZone Internet Delivery. Get your online shopping delivered right to your door. A revolution, your evolution. Go shop the world. eZone. From everywhere. Real easy. eZone. Go shop. Fast, easy, affordable. Shop on the net and get it here through the eZone.
eZone St. Vincent, local agent to BMC agencies.
Shop at Lanes where you come first. For value and quality you can trust. Lanes. For home hardware, fashion and more. The best prices at every store. A warm Vinci welcome is waiting for you. At Lanes, your family store for value.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Black Shadow.
Welcome back to Activated Morning this morning. I know we said 7:45, but we decided to come back in a bit sooner. Now, how do I feel about what happened? I do feel like it's a situation where it's ego versus the interests of the people that happened in Parliament. The budget met a lot of pushback from Vincentians. A lot of people had issues with the increases. A lot of people had questions about the budget. A lot of people had, well, in their questions, a lot of people wanted to know about some things that weren't mentioned, some certain things that didn't quite go in depth, and a lot of people wanted to know why it is that the increases are happening in certain areas. And while we heard from the opposition leader and one senator, that is not enough. When it came to the budget, following a lot of the pushback, it seems like it was more about your personal feelings in the House than the interests of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Personal feelings in what regard, though?
For instance, what was it? A 10-minute debate about why Senator Cummings had a personalized chair. What I care about that? What do I care about that? And then he's saying he's not. Senator Cummings is saying he's not going to speak until Jimmy Prince speaks. Jimmy Prince clearly wasn't in the House for personal reasons.
Yeah, but you see, that's one of the points where I can understand from the position of the opposition, right? Daniel Cummins, one of his portfolios is that of shadow minister of the Ministry of Health. Now, if the Minister of Health does not present, then what is he actually going to rebut on? It wasn't even so much a matter of the Minister of Health not speaking. If I remember correctly, I did not hear from Carlos James, right? I did not hear from Curtis. What's his surname again?
King.
Curtis King, right? There were other ministers who did not speak. So the thing of it is that if you don't have the proceedings could have gone ahead, not necessarily for Cummins to wait for Mr. Prince, Sinclair Prince, to present his before he presents. Somebody else could have gone ahead, right? So which was why it is that I said that I felt let down because I did not hear from the full slate of persons who could have presented in Parliament.
How many members of the opposition were present? When was it? Wednesday or Tuesday? Wednesday?
Well, I can't say how much was present, but the thing of it is that on both sides, this was one of the other comments that I needed to make, in that I feel as if before in the past, as a child or growing up, when I looked at the budget debates, all members were present in Parliament on both sides. I feel as if that you always had everybody on both sides being represented or being present in Parliament. From what it is that I looked at, it did not seem that way on both sides on both sides, right? So I was also disappointed because I also have to question, what is the priority? Why aren't persons there? Now, yes, I can understand and Sinclair Prince not being there, and the Prime Minister did mention the reason for his absence. So that I can understand. Coming out of the NDP's press conference, which they had the same Wednesday, right after the premature end of the budget debate, they mentioned why Stevenson was not there, because he was unwell, right? Fitzbramble also at one point, he was present the day before, but not present the morning of on Wednesday because he was not well and his intention was to make it back, right? But the thing of it is that when I looked at Parliament, and I'm saying, why does it seem so scanty on both sides?
But even if, right, the reason is health issues. Why not postpone the debate? Why not adjourn?
Well, that is a question. But the point of it as well for me, Ari, is that you had persons who were present who could have gone ahead and done something.
That is also true. That is also true.
It wasn't for Mr. Cummins to be there debating, stating, or making his point of him waiting, or him of it making more sense for him to rebut after the minister with the portfolio, which is Jimmy Prince, presents so that he can do his report. That there were other ministers on the government side who could have said something, or who could have made a presentation.
No. What is the procedure when a minister isn't present? Because we're used to hearing the Prime Minister speak on behalf of all ministers. So if there's a minister who isn't present, isn't that the time when the Prime Minister would be the one to present on his behalf? I'm curious because I genuinely don't know.
I don't think that is the case, or should be the case in the budget, because you have the ministers with their portfolios, they can speak for themselves.
Well, the Prime Minister corrected the Minister of Finance.
And what you tend to find is that generally when the budget is being presented by the Minister of Finance, you tend to hear sometimes that the minister with that portfolio will expand on whatever point is being made, right? So there is that expectation that that minister with the particular portfolio is going to expand on whatever it is that his ministry is his or her ministry is doing, what they propose to do, and etc.
Well, the Prime Minister is no longer the Minister of Finance, but he was able to correct the Minister of Finance. So if he is able to do that, why isn't he able to assist in presentation for the other ministries?
Yeah, but he didn't need to do that either, because he also has a portfolio as Minister of National Security. And as far as I recall, that portfolio was not presented either by the Prime Minister.
So what it seemed to me is that on both sides, people went in and they cared more about their feelings and they cared more about their egos than the interest of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we're now supposed to sit back and accept this budget that a lot of people are not happy with, and we don't have a lot of information on because, as you rightfully said, people did not present their portfolios.
All right, we have a call. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Lisa. Good to have you back. You seem to be the woman of the day. Eh? That's good.
Yes, I try and I try, and I'm mustering all the strength today. I'm tired until.
Come on, man. I'm looking forward to you. You sound so experienced or mature already. Yeah. Anyhow, you know what I can't understand is how we don't. A lot of us are afraid to speak our minds in this country. A government has been in office for nearly 30 years, let me put it that way. If they complete this term, it will be 25 years. My thing is, you are the leader. You, the prime minister, is the leader of the country. You, if not you, well, father and son these days. Your son presented the annual budget that people like me and those of us who take a keen interest in our country's affairs have become accustomed to, the annual budget. Sometimes I wonder how many Vincentians really follow these developments or this event, so to speak. And to fail our people of sins, I put the blame on you. I put the blame on you. You present all the policies, how money is going to be spent over the next so much years, and you fail to deliver. As the opposition leader said, it's the first time in living memory in the political history of this country. A man like the Prime Minister who loves to talk, who speaks out all the time, never said a word on the budget. He didn't. Well, there are all sorts of accusations being made by some people. I'm not going to get into that, but the responsibility was his and his party to present to the people. I don't see people want to blame we're going to blame the opposition for. Huh? The opposition is there to rebut and to respond to them when they make their presentation. It is just totally absurd, and I'm not surprised, but people are afraid to say it like it is or speak the truth. They're the ones who fail us. I have anticipated all of this happening in a distant time, let me put it that way. So, for me, if Vincentians are allowing this to happen, what can one person like Dave Roberts do to it? I can't make a difference. All I'm trying to do is to speak my mind in our democracy as a Vincentian and to express my gut feeling, and I'm going to call on a Vincentian. It has come to, as far as I'm concerned, all I can say, check where you get. Check where you get. Maybe the time will come when you can take the pressure and you will react. You will react on the spur of the moment. But this is so clear to me. Huh? It seems I can make accusations like they were not prepared to, or it was a plan, a strategy that they used to make who look bad. It's really people who suffer as a result of this. We're the people who are left wanting. We don't know where we're going. Anyhow, that's enough for today. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dave.
But what Dave said is how could we blame the opposition? As I said, I feel like it's the fault of both sides, because all members of the House are there to represent the interests of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If how many people presented? The Prime Minister didn't present, but he did speak. Minister of Finance presented. Agriculture.
Sabota's
Mhm.
presented, right?
Saboto presented just those two.
Those are the two that I remember.
Okay, and then
On the
Dr.
opposition,
Friday and
Chevron John.
John.
Mhm. Those are who I remember.
That's
You see, the
all
thing
I
of it,
saw.
right, for me, Ari, is that regardless, the budget was going to be passed, right? We know that whether they went the 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, the budget was going to be passed, right? Because the government does have the majority in the parliament, so it was going to be passed regardless.
Mhm.
But one of the things that we always have an issue with, and well, I didn't get to expand on the point yesterday because a call came in, is that there are some persons who are of the view that number one, we don't hear enough from the opposition, or number two, they aren't doing enough, right? When they get to the House of Parliament is where it is for them on a national stage, in terms of a national agenda, for them to present their points. That is the arena for them to be able to respond, as I said, rebut, question things as proposed by the government. Now, if a move such as what was pulled on Wednesday is done, it's not giving them that chance to speak. Now, the thing of it is that I don't necessarily need to hear that another press conference is going to be held, let's say for them to present an alternative budget or for them to rebut the budget. The House of Parliament is there for them to do that. That is what the persons who have elected them as opposition members with particular constituencies, they have been elected, and that is where they're supposed to voice that point or those opinions or those concerns in the House of Parliament. And if they aren't allowed that, now what is that saying about the democracy that we hold in SVG?
But I also saw a story, was it on Eyewitness News, that said the Minister of Finance wasn't ready for the budget debate. That he said that it was 3 days earlier than he expected or something similar to
That
that.
was an opinion piece or an actual article?
And that's why I'm trying to look for it now to find it.
Because I don't see it.
Here it is. Minister of Finance. No, it's a news article. Minister of Finance, Kamala Gonzalez, says he was still getting information for his wrap-up on the budget debate when Prime Minister Gonzalez invited him to do so on Wednesday.
For the wrap-up,
2.5 days earlier than expected, yeah.
Right, for the wrap-up.
But,
yeah, because we know it generally goes for the 5 days, for the 5 days.
But the opposition had a copy of the budget, the same as a number of persons did. So, whether or not the persons, the ministers for whatever ministry presented, I still, as a Vincentian, expected more, especially given how I personally feel as well about the budget. I expected more because I don't expect the party who's passing the budget or who's proposing the budget to then come back and say, okay, we're doing something wrong. Let us peel back or let us reverse certain things. I don't expect that from them. I expect the opposition now, as you said, in that arena, on that stage, with a huge percentage of the Vincentian public watching, to question these things, to present alternatives. That was my expectation. That's why I feel failed by both sides.
I think for me, what it is, despite you see, it's difficult to say whether or not the opposition, let's say, was in the wrong for not going ahead. Because the point of it is that if Cummins was ready, then maybe he could have just gone ahead, right? To not have the budget debate wrap up so quickly. He could have presented whatever it is he had already prepared. But I do understand, as I said before, him not necessarily presenting because he was awaiting the presentation from the actual minister to do the rebuttal, right? But again, there were other members on the government side who should have presented.
I don't disagree with you at all. At all. I do not disagree with you at all. I really, really, really was not pleased with what the government proposed. And so I really just expected more to be said on it. And that's why I keep saying it's both sides. I really did expect more from both sides. Now, if that is what happens in the future, Where does that leave us? The
No,
government
but
proposes numbers, people don't debate it, and the numbers are passed, and that's it.
well, the numbers are going to be passed anyway. That's the point that I'm making.
Yeah,
Numbers are
yeah,
going to
I
be
know what you're
passed
saying,
anyway.
but
But the point is that there
with
needs
zero
to be a
debate,
debate.
yeah, with
Exactly. So
zero debate,
there
where does
still
that
needs to
leave
be a
us?
debate,
Where
right?
does that leave us?
And the thing of it is that this should not be looked at as a precedent. It should not happen
Exactly.
again in the future.
Exactly.
We should not be. The thing of it is, Ari, I know that we hear, and I know that persons are saying, what we doing about it? What we doing about it? But at this point, what can we really do about it?
Nothing.
And it's unfortunate that we cannot do anything about it. No, the thing of it is that, all right, let me choose my words carefully, right? These type of situations may not necessarily have a change in effect in the immediate, but they can add up. And that's all I'm going to say on that, right? They can add up.
Yep.
And it's if we are saying that we're living in a democratic society, if something as simple as people looking forward to the budget debate. Now, the thing of it is that as a younger person, as a child, I honestly used to say the budget was for old people, right? Because you tend to find it was their parents, and you're putting your parents in the category of old people. But anyways, but the thing of it is, I have now come of age. Maybe I am now in the category of old people, whatever that may be. But I am now at an age where I actually do have an interest in listening to the parliament.
So we need
do have
to.
an interest in listening to the budget debate. And then when it is that, now my interest is piqued, and now it is I actually want to be able to listen and to be able to speak with a bit of authority on what is presented. I don't want no third-hand information. I don't want second-hand information. I want to hear it for myself. But then when things like this happen, then what does that say? And as I said, you had students who were in the public gallery. Thank you, Joshua, for letting me know the correct term. Who were in the public gallery, who may have an interest in politics, who may have an interest in national affairs, in whatever scope later on in life. And you have things like this happening where the entire process does not go through. What does this say? How am I supposed to be interested?
I'll tell you what it says. For me, and my personal opinion, and I truly don't care how people feel about it. I do not think that when we have a government that's in power for 20-something years, and then we have a budget passing after said 20-something years with little debate, then how can I feel like I'm living in a democratic society? How is that possible?
Yeah. But I know the time is almost 8, but I just wanted to say one more thing, right? Now, I know that on both sides, they are allocated a certain amount of time, right? I think as I said, I am now learning about the processes of parliament. So it's going to take a while for me to pick up on every single thing. But I recognize that on the government side, their time seems to be a bit longer than on the opposition. All right, be that as it may, that's the case. One of the things that I was truly disappointed with is when persons are given time, that they allow for a lot of crosstalk to interrupt and disrupt them, right? Disrupt their presentation. Now, I am all for the pecan, right? I don't have a problem with the little back and forth, the little exchanges, etc. Just once it doesn't get too.
I had a problem with the nonsense that happened.
Yeah,
I had a problem with it.
So, right,
but I got what you're saying. But the
right.
nonsense that happened, like the petty back and forth, I had a problem with that.
So that's I have an issue with, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about the little cross.
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
That you might throw across, that sort of thing. I don't have a problem with that, right? What it is that I do have a problem with is using that little time for the crosstalk. You are given, let's say, 4 hours, 5 hours to make a presentation, but you're allowing a lot of these distractions to take up your time. Now, when it is that I'm looking at it, I am getting the opinion that you are buying time, right? In order to use up the time to say that you have spoken, let's say, for the 4 hours, for the 5 hours, whatever. That to me does not show that there is substantial preparation that was done, because if you are using crosstalk to buy up your time, then to me it's reflective of a poor presentation overall, right? It just looks weak, right? On my personal opinion, it just looks weak. It shows that there isn't enough preparation that was done. That your presentation doesn't have enough substance to it. That you don't have enough points maybe to rebut to whatever was initially presented. The crosstalk that happens and the little distractions that you're allowed to take up your time to say that you have spoken for your allocated amount of time. I do have a serious issue with that, right? And this is just me looking at the presentation, as I said, as a quote-unquote newcomer to looking at Parliament.
But Reliezer, I'll even piggyback off what you're saying there and say, it shows the fact that the Prime Minister then had to come and correct certain things. It shows that the presentation wasn't well put together in certain aspects.
The thing with that, right, Ari, mistakes can happen. I know. Hold on. I know I say I tired of full of energy on this topic. Sorry.
It shouldn't.
I know that it shouldn't happen. I know that the particular category under which the mistake happened would not have been one that should have happened because of the fact that it's an increase that is affecting us as Vincentians, right? But the thing of it is that mistakes do happen. I am happy that it was picked up early, and I'm happy that it was addressed early as well. All right.
I just feel like exactly what you said. The crosstalk and the chatter, and then the result is reflective of something that was not well prepared on both sides. But who could do it? Had a baby grinds, it didn't happen.
Yeah, well, as we said, it was going to be passed anyway. But I just want to hear the ministers, especially ministers who we don't always hear from a lot, in public. We don't hear from them a lot. I want to hear the ministers actually speak. And on top of that, right, when you have the younger ministers/senators who are present, remember that many of them might be putting themselves up as political candidates for the future. Now, I need to know or see what your method of delivery is like, the way in which you articulate your points. Can you actually hold a debate, hold your point, hold your conversation, hold whatever it is that you're saying, right? I need to be able to see you do that so that I can know whether or not in the future, if I can view you as a candidate who I wish to vote for. So you have to be able to give the younger members, the younger senators, those persons who we don't normally hear from speaking a lot, you have to give them that platform and that opportunity to speak. And
preaching this morning, boy.
Throw some money.
Hallelujah.
I can pick them up.
Keep going, sister. Keep going, sister. Give us the word, sister. Keep going. Keep going.
Listen, I had the energy for you this morning. You have to be able to give them that platform because, they are the future. They are the future, and we need to see who is going to possibly be representing us in the future.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Hey, NC Silver.
Time is now 8:05 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and your time check was brought to you by New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of life, that doesn't make it any easier. When dealing with the loss of a loved one, you may try to be strong,